Hello, I'm Heidi Brumbach, creator of Vocab Victor, and we just got back from the TESOL 2019 convention in Atlanta, Georgia, where I gave this presentation. Unfortunately, I think a lot of the people that wanted to come to the presentation weren't able to make it, so I thought I would do a copy and put it online because we can do that now. So if you're interested in Vocab Victor and how it can help your students improve their vocabulary, this is the presentation for you. Here we go. So I'm going to talk about what Vocab Victor is. I'll go into some detail about what words Vocab Victor teaches. I'll talk about how it teaches words, and then I'll give you a demo of our games and our progress room. And if you have any questions, since this isn't a live presentation, you're more than welcome to put them in the comment section. I will check back and try to get back to you, and I'm very interested in your feedback. So here we go. What is Vocab Victor? First and foremost, Vocab Victor is a game. And from the very beginning of thinking about developing this application, I wanted it to be a game. Not just because games are fun, although they are, and not just because I love games, although I do, but because I really wanted to meet my users where they digitally live. I originally thought about an adult learner who was in maybe the North America, the United States or Canada, studying English, and maybe they were like playing little games on their phone on their way to school, and I thought, I want to get that person playing a game that will help improve their vocabulary during that same time period. So, what words does Vocab Victor teach? We're actually focused on intermediate level, or what we call mid-level vocabulary, and I have kind of a very specific reason for this, which is pretty personal. A lot of times when you're studying a foreign language, and this has happened to me and probably seen it happen to your students or maybe yourself, is you start out the first year and you make just great bounds, and learning a new language can be like bounding joyfully through a meadow. You just learn so much so quickly. But then as you hit that second, third, and fourth year, that pace just levels off, and a lot of people plateau there. And that was one of the things that was important to me, was I wanted to attempt to make those intermediate gains look more like the beginning gains. So how do we do this? So let's think a little bit about the beginning learner's experience. They pick up words pretty quickly. Again, why? Well, we can actually think about the answer to this question if we think about the intersection of cognition, how your mind works, and linguistics, or how language works. So these beginning words are very common. So they occur very frequently. And you remember things better the more often you're exposed to them. So from your brain's point of view, these beginning words are like a movie theater-sized bucket of popcorn. Book, 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 teacher, teacher, teacher. Of course they're going to remember these words. On the other hand, the intermediate level words, or the mid-level words, are more like going to a cocktail party. You meet somebody interesting, you have a great conversation, then you run into them again 6 months later. Of course you don't remember their name. So it's the same thing with these intermediate words. They occur less frequency, so the experience in encountering the word, it happens, but it happens so infrequently that they aren't as easy to remember. So what I'm trying to do with Vocab Victor is actually two things. One, I want to strengthen the knowledge of these frequent words, and I'll talk about what that means in a little while. The other thing I want to do is I want to teach the intermediate level words using repetition. So they kind of hit the brain more like the popcorn and less like that cocktail party guy. So how exactly do I teach words? Let's back up a minute and think about, how are words stored in the mind? Well, we know for a fact that words are not stored randomly in the mind. We're very certain of this. And we know that they're not stored in like a list. I mean, your mind doesn't have like a dictionary, like listing all the words with the definitions next to them. We're not exactly sure how words are stored in the mind, but we're pretty sure that the mental lexicon is more or less a network of word associations. So this is an example from one of my favorite linguists in the field, Paul Mira, and it shows the word butterfly at the center of these associations. So you've got the you've got the synonyms of very close semantic associations like moth, insect, cocoon, caterpillar, but then you also have kind of thematic associations like flower, beauty, color, red, and these are going to be informed by your own experience with the word. So for example, I was raised in a part of the country that has a lot of monarch butterflies. So when I think butterfly, I'm automatically associated with that iconic orange and black monarch butterfly. There's one more association that I want to draw your attention to, which is madam. Now this is something that as educators we would identify as a collocation, but it actually, in this network of associations, it belongs with these links that are more semantically oriented. So what do we know about these mental lexical networks? We don't know everything about it, but one thing that we do know, and this is again from Paul Mira's research, native speakers have very rich associative networks. On the other hand, non-native speakers have extremely sparse networks, and we know this because when Mira did an experiment giving a target word to a bunch of native speakers, they were able to just rattle off lots of associations. Like I say red, you say black, white, blood, wine. But when he gave the same lexical items to non-native speakers, they really struggled with this, and you might have seen this in your classrooms as well. They could maybe come up with one or maybe two associations. So the networks are very sparse. So my goal with Vocab Victor is to help learners acquire a more native-like mental network of word associations. This is our core pedagogical framework. So now I'm going to switch to a demo. I'm going to be doing a live demo of this game, and always a little nervous when I do this because I never know what words are going to come up. So the most important thing that I want to point out before we get started is that it's constantly adapting to the learner's level, and it generates each game dynamically based on two things. One, if they are learning a word, it will give them multiple matches for the same word, so they'll see the same word in different games as they're playing. The other thing it will do is it will give them new words at their learning level. And the game is constantly assessing your students' learning level. So if they get a lot of words right, it will give them harder words. If they get a lot of words wrong, it will give them easier words. And when I was at the convention, a lot of the teachers were asking me, what level is the game? And the game, unless your student is a beginner where it's not really appropriate, but if your student is an advanced beginner, a low intermediate, high intermediate, or even an advanced learner, it will adapt to their level. And in fact, here's a secret. You can play if you're a native speaker and it will adapt to your level and maybe teach you some words you didn't know. So this is our tower. And again, I tried to make this game kind of look like the games that your students are already familiar with, you know, like Candy Crush Saga, where you have to finish each level before you go up higher. And the trick is that as you go up the tower, we have new games. So we have a total of 4 games now. I'm only going to show you 4 of them. But you need to finish level 9 before you get to the new game on level 10. I'm going to start with our first game, which is called Word Strike. And again, it comes up learning our words. Here's Victor. He's telling us that we solved 10 word pairs in 2.5 minutes. And the way this game works is it has the main word and the target. Here's storm, and then 4 choices on the arrows. And the goal is to pick the word that's closest in meaning to the target word. And when I say closest in meaning, sometimes they're synonyms, sometimes they're the same type of thing, or sometimes there's a type of relationship. So here, storm, the closest meaning would be hail, because hail is something that happens during a storm. Gunman, okay, I'm going to skip that one. daughter. Here's a example of something that is a similar type of thing. So daughter and grandson are both relatives. So as you see, brew is could be heal, but I think it's more likely to be drink. And once again, these words will come up over and over again. So here you see leader and ruler. Another time you might play the game and see leader and king, leader and president, leader and manager. So the idea is to strengthen these associations. So it tells them multiple meanings for the same words. So strengthen that mental lexicon. So I'm going to quit here and show you the next game that we have. The next game we have is my personal favorite. This is called Word Find, and it is a word search puzzle game. But what we do here is, again, we cluster the words thematically. So you want to find 10 words related to sleep. All the words in the puzzle are going to be semantically related to sleep, or they may have collocations. So in this game, they're more likely to see collocations than and more kind of broader semantic matches. So sleep, bedroom, couch, another favorite place to sleep, night, curl, disorder, breathe, awake, bunk, hour. So as you can see, there's two things happening. Oh, breathe. As you can see, there's actually two things that are happening here. One is that they are kind of passively learning these associations. So if you didn't know what one of these words meant, you might start to accumulate some knowledge about it. And this is actually how people learn words through reading. Studies of children have shown that, in that like critical 5th, 6th grade where they're reading a lot and their vocabulary is increasing, every time they encounter a word, they just get a little bit more knowledge about that word. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to do here. The other thing, if you look at this, you realize that it is a focus on form activity, because you need to think about how the word is spelled in order to find it in the puzzle. So let's go ahead and finish this. Couch and awake. And if you want a hint, you can tap on the wand icon, bedroom, and disorder, sleep disorder, there's a good word. And when the game ends, and this is true for all the game screens, you get to go to the word review screen. And in this screen, you can look at all the words that you just saw, and you can tap on it to get the definition. And these definitions are actually from the Merriam-Webster Learner's Dictionary, which is our favorite dictionary, and it is written in simple language so your learners can understand it. Curl, oh, there's a good word. So let's go back to our tower. So the next game I'm going to show you is called Word Drop. This is otherwise known as the bird game. This is a word sorting game, and I talked a minute ago about how the games build up incremental knowledge. This game leverages the power of guessing. So what I do is I'll have two words that are different, and then I'll give them a word in the middle, and they have to pick which is this word more like. Is it more like this or more like this? And a lot of times they might not think that they don't quite understand the word, but they guess, and they're like, oh, okay, I guess I did know a little bit about that word, and that will help them build up knowledge. So here is reported and give. So give and get are kind of the same. Give and receive. Again, these are antonyms, but they're semantically related. Reported, reporting. Here you come up with some word family knowledge. Estimated, offer, give, and published. I'm going to put this in the wrong one and see what happens. Reported, so it gives you the new one. If the words are too hard, you can skip and you won't lose a life. Give, hold, and take, give, another antonym. found, maybe reported. They found something and then they reported it. Some of these matches are a little tricky. In fact, word drop is our hardest game, but I've seen people play it over and over to try to get past it. And once again, you come up with the word review screen and it will show you all the matches for the words, and you can also look at the definition. Go home. The last thing that I want to show you about this game is what we call our progress room. And this is, we're very proud of this. This lets the students see which words they're learning and how much they've learned them. So we count the word as learned. This is saying it's got 83 words learned. We count the word as learned if they got it right a certain number of times. And again, you can tap on the word to see the definition. We'll go back here. And the other category is seen. So you look at all the words that are seen, and these words have a progress bar that tells you how close it is to being in the next level up. So conference, peace, father, one more match will probably push this into the next category. And again, you can look at the definitions. We do not, at this point, have a way to share this with the teachers, but if you want your students to be playing Vocab Victor, one thing you could do is just, have them take a screenshot from their phone or their tablet and turn it in every week so that you can see that they're progressing and learning new words. We have got a lot of, I want to show you here our profile page real quick because I wanted to point something out. There's a button here, send feedback, and I just want you to know that goes into my email box. We would love to hear about your opinion about the game and feedback, ideas you have. The other thing, if you go onto our website, vocabvictor.com, and go over onto this contact screen, and if you scroll down, you'll see join our mailing list. I strongly recommend you join our mailing list. We have got a lot of new features coming out. We're coming out with word lists. We're coming out with tools for teachers. We've been talking to a lot of different teachers, especially at the TESOL convention, and everybody says the same thing. How can I use this in my classroom? How can I use my own word list? How can I assign lists to my students? So this is something really important that we are working very hard to implement. So join our mailing list and you will be the first to hear when these are implemented. And if you have a colleague who is interested in vocabulary and might be interested in learning more about Vocab Victor, please feel free to share this video with anyone far and wide that you think might be interested. Thank you.